Everybody, good evening and welcome to the Ware Parks and Recs April 13th, 2021 meeting. Hi. In attendance, I'm Janine Lynch, Chairman. We also have Dave Lundeen, Vice Chair, Pamela Moole, Member, John Van, ex officio, and we have Lisa Brulian, who is our Director. And first of all, we're going to start with amendments to the agenda tonight. And I just wanted to add in Carrington Field. I wanted to kind of touch base on what's happened there over the weekend. And we just got an email from Karen Metcalf from the Ware Public Library. And so I also wanted to put that in tonight's agenda. Any public comment? All right. So we'll start off, unless anybody else has any amendments to the agenda, just chime in, interrupt. Okay. So first thing I put up tennis courts, and I actually also wanted to add into that part of the agenda to setting up the nets. Had anybody thought about scheduling or timing or when we should meet to set up the nets, Lisa?
David actually brought that up to me this past week. He thinks the two of us can do it together. I think we might like to have a voluntold member of the chair's family help. But I appreciate the confidence that Dave has in me. Don't get me wrong, but I think it would be very helpful. And I think if we can, I've got my notebook, sorry.
We're both at the middle school. We're both at the middle school tomorrow night for tennis. For baseball practice, we'd be right next door.
What time is that?
It's from 6 to 7:30 tomorrow night.
Yep. So I can meet you. Yep. I just have somebody coming to meet one of my foster dogs.
Okay.
She's driving from Rhode Island, but I'm sure that'll be pretty quick, and I can definitely meet you. Because
you probably don't want to meet the foster dog at the tennis court because there's always the chance of escaping.
She's not an escapee. She's 12.
Oh, that's right. So,
the only thing that I have on that is if we're going to be filling in the cracks, we probably don't want to have the nets up while we're trying to fill in the cracks.
We'll talk to Naomi about that in a second, but I would imagine that they would just take them down or have us take them down. We have no idea when that's going to happen. I mean, that could be a month.
I haven't checked them I filled in, my kids and I were over there. We filled in a ton of cracks last fall. I haven't checked to see how that held up.
You bought the stuff at Country 3, that's right.
Yeah. It took tons of it because those cracks, unfortunately, there's like reservoirs underneath those cracks.
Right. But the nets are at Town Hall and you can get those anytime, right?
I think, Naomi, can I get those tomorrow night when the food pantry's open? I have dog food I want to donate. Could I get the nets then?
Yeah, we put them in that room, so we'll have to, and I can unlock the room and we can drag them out in the hallway.
Okay, yeah.
Because the town office is open till 7.
Okay.
Food pantry's open till 6.
Okay.
So if they drag them out in the hallway before the food pantry, can you still get them after 6 o'clock if it's like 6:30?
Well, the town office is open until 7, so I can get in.
Well, and you have a key.
Yeah, I've got it. Yeah.
It's just if you don't have a key to that room, that's the problem. All right. So does that work out?
But if Naomi, if you can get them into the hallway, I can come. I could actually come probably closer to tomorrow night. I could probably come at 3:30, 4 o'clock.
Okay. You can text Naomi to remind her.
Thank you.
What time tomorrow are we thinking?
I would do it 6:15, 6:30. Does that sound all right, Lisa? I don't know what time is your meetup?
I think she's going to get to my house right around 5:45 because that's when I get back from music lessons. She won't take long, and I can certainly, I can juggle that.
I mean, does it sound, so we should just shoot kind of the 6:15-ish, a little before, a little after?
It'd have to be after, because I think if she gets there at 5:45, she'll still be there. Yeah.
So 6:30?
Yeah, that's when practice is over.
No, practice is over at 7:30. It's 6 to
Okay,
7:30.
if we could do more closer to 7:30, that would be way better.
Is it dark out by then? No, I guess it's still.
No.
light. Okay, so at the end of practice. All right, so should we shoot for between around 7:30?
Yeah.
Okay, how does that sound, Dave? I don't know if he can hear me. So Dave, we'll shoot for 7:30 tomorrow night at the tennis courts. And the other thing too that I was looking at.
Sorry, I'd rather do it earlier than later. So I'd rather
right.
do it like go get them before it all locks up, before the food pantry locks
Right.
up. Hang on.
Lisa's,
Yeah, I can get them.
And grab them at like 6 and just go get them done.
well,
Yeah,
Lisa,
yeah.
Lisa will have them with her. She's going to get them at 3:30, but she has an obligation at 6 o'clock. So then I mean,
Oh,
so I think 7 o'clock, it's still plenty light out.
okay. Well,
Is that-
as long as they're out in the hallway, I can just back up with my truck. We can just throw them in like we did last year and run them
Oh,
across.
really?
Right.
Whatever
right.
you guys want to do is fine with me. I'll help if I just, unfortunately, I think 6:15 might be a little rough, only because my husband has to have kids in Concord for one thing, and I'm picking up another kid for another thing. And anyway,
So if you can get the nets, Lisa, and we'll meet at 7 o'clock at the courts. If you can't get them, then we can, Dave can get them before 6. If you can't get them in your car.
yeah, I can get them in the back of the Pilot. It's no
Okay.
problem.
All right. Okay. All right. So we'll plan to meet at the tennis courts at 7 o'clock unless something comes up. And then we can talk about the sign, like what the sign says, and maybe take pictures of it and talk to, I don't know, does Brown Graphics do signs, or do we have a sign
Yeah.
person? Talk
Speaking of
to-
that, she hasn't gotten back to me. I called her about something, and I've got to get back to her. Thank you.
Oh, and we'll want to talk to a couple people, we'll want to get a few prices for the new sign for the tennis. court. Okay. Naomi, have you had any progress? Did you get the bid in the paper for the repair for the courts yet, or how's that coming?
The bid's in, the repairs, the bid is due next Thursday at 5.
Okay, all right. All right, so, okay, that's good. Okay.
Yeah, can I please have your sweatshirt?
All right. Anybody else with the tennis courts? Anything else to add? Pam, any comments?
No, I'm all set.
All right, if you feel like swinging by at 7, go ahead, but it sounds like we got enough volunteers.
We'll see what happens with Mom's appointments.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I hope she's doing good.
No, but thank you.
Oh, all right,
And I'll make sure I bring the wrenches that we need.
all right, all right. That sounds good, Dave. Okay. All right, so if nobody has anything else about tennis courts, we'll move on to Bolton Park. I want to plan sometime to pick up that sunshade. So let's talk about the tree planting out of order for a minute. Did we confirm with Ashpond, I believe it is? Or
Naomi was working on that.
Okay, did we confirm like when, where, and time and stuff?
Well, the request at the selectmen's meeting was maple. So
Okay.
we requested a maple. Is a place been set out so that they can see where it's going? Is there going to be a stake at Bolton Field where you want a tree and a stake at Chase Park where you want the tree? Because they
We
want to
can-
look at it before that day.
Okay, we can stake that out. I actually can probably do that with anybody else who wants to do that. Thursday. I could go Thursday afternoon.
So once you have it staked out, let me know, because the guy wants to go by and see if there'll be, what they may or may not run into. But he just wants to know before, they're ready to plant the tree.
Yeah, we'll have to be careful because of irrigation at Bolton.
Well, I
Because
thought do we want to put it in the playground?
Yeah, but if it's in the playground, there's irrigation coming out of that shed.
Okay.
So we want to be careful about where we put it.
So
And then,
Well,
Yeah.
if we're gonna put them both down at Bolton, I would put them over closer to the sunshade, to where those sunshades are, to help get shade there, so it's not in the playground, so kids are not running and jumping on it and everything else like that. That it's actually over by where we're trying to get shade anyway.
Well, we're gonna work on, that was my other point was when, Naomi, what's the time, what's the date for the tree planting again?
Arbor Day is, I know it's not very good. Lisa had mentioned it, but it's Friday, April 30th. I don't have a time yet, but that's Arbor
That's,
Day.
okay, that's school vacation. I'm gonna have that day off, so I actually can be there.
Okay,
Because it's vacation week.
sure.
I'm pretending I'm gonna hang out with my kids, but they obviously have more plans than I do. So, so I can be there on the 30th. I don't know, do you know what time of day yet, or you don't have?
Yeah, it'll be during the day. I don't know what time.
Okay, all right. So, because I was also figuring when I was there for that, I could also get into the shed and get the sunshades out and talk to the canvas place. So, Dave, I mean, I'm not fussy on where the tree goes. The irrigation's definitely a major concern. Lisa, are you able to know where the irrigation is? Or is that something you need to talk to Tim about? Or when you
I just
stake
know,
it?
I know where the pipes come out near the shed.
Okay.
That's the only thing I know. There is no map. I've already been to the town offices a couple of times and they've dug through everything and they don't have it, so.
All right, so what time tomorrow do you think you'd want to be there?
Tomorrow?
Is that what you, no, you said?
No,
you said-
Thursday.
Sorry, you said Thursday.
Thursday is, I could be there anywhere between, well, you've got work, right?
I'm working, right? I'm not, you don't have to wait for me. I mean, if it's easier during the day, I don't have to be there.
So I
We can-
mean, yeah, I mean, Dave and I or Pam, you've got a lot going on right now, so we don't expect you to be running around. But
Thank you.
anybody else who wants to go with me, somebody else should go with me, so it's not just me.
Right, so I was
um,
thinking Dave, if Dave wanted to go. depending on
Yeah,
the
so
time.
Dave,
I actually have to be at Bolton between 5:30 and 6:30 for lacrosse practice. So I'll actually be
Okay.
at the park then.
Okay. Let's do that. Let's, I will be, I have to pick up Eva probably at the high school around 5:30, so right around 6 o'clock I can meet you, Dave, Thursday.
I could probably, that's I could swing by that on my way home too. I think. Yes. Okay, that would be perfect. So we can meet at Bolton and stake out the tree. All right. Okay.
Janine, are you still planning on one at Chase Park and one at Bolton, right?
I think so, Lisa. Is that Lisa, Dave, and Pam? Does that sound good to everybody?
Yes.
Yeah,
All right, so after Bolton, we can drive over to Chase and stake one out. We'll
Yeah,
just-
yeah, I have the stakes.
Okay,
And you'll do that this Thursday?
yes,
Okay, all right, I'll tell him that he could go look at Friday then.
yep,
Okay, thank you.
thank you. All right.
Do we
so
know how big these trees are?
when they show up? No?
I have no idea. They're coming from a nursery, so I have no idea.
I mean, my guess would be what, like 3 feet tall? I mean, they're not
Yeah,
gonna
they
bring
could be three. They could
they're
be
not gonna bring
huge.
equipment to dig up a huge hole.
No, I think he's gonna take a hand shovel is my guess.
Me too. So I probably 2 or 3 feet tall. Just, I hope they stake them really well. Okay. All right. So unless anybody has anything else to talk about with the state or the tree planting. I was gonna go on to, as far as the porta potties go, do we know, has any of them arrived yet this week? They were expected, well, I guess they're expected tomorrow.
Tuesday.
Okay.
I think it's a Tuesday. I think it's a Tuesday. Is it a Wednesday?
Today's Tuesday, so I don't know if they came today. or-
I did not check when I went by Bolton, when I went by Inison, I'm sorry.
We also talked about, and I wanted to hear what everybody else kind of thought about this, maybe in the future, if this is even a possibility. Maybe purchasing our own porta potties and then hiring a company just to empty them and clean them. If I didn't know how anybody else felt about that versus this whole permanent rental thing, having trouble getting rental, getting stuck with our rental company that's really not that great, that's not even cleaning very well. Any thoughts from anybody?
I did check into that, just so everybody's aware. I did check. There were not any available this season. They've been in high demand. So, and I did try to get other porta potty rental companies, because we did have some issues last year. I'm hoping that we won't have those issues this year. I think that part of it might have been COVID last year. But we are going to continue with the company we've been using for now because that was our only option.
Some people from WAC had said that it had been a few years of issues with American.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not in favor of buying. Two reasons. One, I don't know this for sure. This is just a guess, but would they treat it as if it was a propane tank? Whereas if you did from them, they're not going to come service it. That's problem number one I'd be concerned with.
I did check on that and they will come service your private porta potties. But I did not get a price. So,
Okay. The second part of that is we have some youth troublemakers in town and just troublemakers in the area
Vandalism.
damaged.
yeah, I thought of that too.
Buy a new one. Again, don't know what the cost is, but I'm thinking from a rental standpoint, it would just be a lot easier. So if we also buy it, another point just popped up. Where are we going to store them in wintertime when we're not using them?
You
They
can
stay put.
you can antifreeze them and you can prep them. So when I had the camper, it was an option where I could hire them to come and clean out my camper. So that's how I knew that Henniker Septic did that service, camper or porta potty.
I understand that part of it, the winterizing. Where are you physically going to store them so they don't get damaged by people?
They just stay.
Right.
They stay on site. As a matter of fact, they've left them on site at our fields before for the winter.
Yeah, not on purpose, but they didn't pick them up one year.
Yeah.
But in most of the parks, I mean, in the winter, unless somebody's going in on a snowmobile, they're not plowed or anything. So people really don't have an easy time to go in by car. I mean, obviously by foot they could, but we don't see much traffic during the winter, which is
I think
fortunate.
it's just a future option. Like we could price it. If we price it out and we find out that we could save, a few $1,000s, then might want to do it. But that would be, and in the future, it's definitely not happening this year anyway.
Right.
Yeah, I'd like to definitely look at more the price comparison, like Lisa.
Absolutely.
Right. That's how I feel too. I mean, if we're spending, so much money renting them, and if there's other options. I'd love to build those block ones that you see like at the rest stops and stuff. We need an Eagle Scout project, a building one. Okay. All right. Next thing. Well, I was going to talk to Pam about the new playground company, but obviously I'm not sure. You've been pretty busy. So I don't know if that's something you've been able to contact anybody.
I have not reached out to them, but I can send her an email and CC you on it if you want. That way
Yeah.
you can kind of follow up.
Right. Because maybe school vacation week during the day or an evening, if she does put pity on volunteers and come to an evening appointment, then I could probably meet up. So that would be great. If you want to put me on the email, that would be wonderful. I didn't print it. Hang on a second. Next we have, unless anybody has any more topics, I'm going to try to, sorry, everybody, I disappeared because I'm not like the Zoom person of the world here. Hang on.
You're still here. You didn't disappear.
Oh, you can see me. I just can't see. Okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to find the Girl Scout email. I thought I would have printed it and I didn't find it. So let me look really quick here. So we got an email from
Chrissy Wright.
Here it is. Your favorite Girl Scout troop. Okay. So yes, Chrissy Wright. She is hoping to. Hi, we're a Daisy troop here in Ware, and we're curious if we could go by Bolton Park and take a couple of hours to clean up with the kids at the park, at the kids part of the park, and put some new toys in the sandbox and maybe plant some hardy flowers to freshen up the space. When we do this, we'd like to put a sign or two on the chain link fence. She said 12 inches by 18 inches at the entrances, stating something like Troop 61281, clean this area, please do not litter. These signs would be zip tied on the fence and could be easily removed if wanted. Please let us know if this is possible. We're looking to do this sometime in the coming weeks. So I wanted to hear everybody's thought about, I think it's wonderful that the Girl Scouts want to do a cleanup. I think that's fabulous. I think the new vehicles, the new things in the sandbox are great. I've done that myself. I've brought sandbox toys over. I know all of us probably have done that through the years. And as far as the planting hardy plants, it'd be interesting to find out what kind and where they want to put it. And again, with the irrigation especially. And then lastly, I mean, I have no problem with a sign. Obviously, they're paying for it. And I do like the please do not litter. Maybe carry in, carry out on there or something. Go
We
ahead.
have those signs sitting, last I knew they were in Naomi's office. I think the highway department was gonna put them up last year. I think my only request is that if we put up her signs, that we would back to back them on the fence. So if our sign is saying carry in, carry out and don't, whatever the rules of the playground, that the Girl Scout sign would be on the back side of that, just so that we don't have signs littering the fence. That's my only thought.
That's a good idea, actually. So we would need to put up ours first so they knew where to put theirs.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what happened. Naomi, are those still in your office or did they go to the highway department?
Nope, they're still sitting where you left them.
Okay,
You put them with the tennis nets for us, and then when we get the tennis nets, we can get the signs, and then Thursday when we go to stake the tree, we could bring some zip ties.
I think the highway department was gonna put them up, like install them properly. Because zip ties are not gonna leave, they could be very easily taken down otherwise.
All right.
But they were supposed to put one like at the entrance to Bolton, at the entrance to the playground. I think there was one for the for the skate park. There was one for Purington, Inison, and Chase Park, I think.
So, Naomi, is that something the highway department can do?
Yeah, just give me that list. One at the entrance of Bolton. Like, what do you mean, at the roadway?
I actually would have to go look at the signs again because I had plans for all of them. I think I wrote it all down last year, but I think I gave it to you, but I think I'd have to go look at the signs to tell you where they went.
Yeah, you can look at the signs and then just tell
Yeah.
me where you want them and I can talk to Benji at some point.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so they can put up a sign back to back with ours once ours are up. And then, what does anybody else have any thoughts? Plants, toys, cleanup?
Maybe while we're there staking the tree, we can, if you have extra stakes, we can maybe just put a couple of stakes in the ground and say, hey, here's suggestions of where we think you should put flowers so that they obviously won't get trampled on and things like that.
That's a good idea. And we could even mark out where we're gonna put our sign, so they could, if their sign gets there first, they could have it up first or something, they could go back to back. Okay. Maybe a different kind of stake, so the tree guy doesn't come and think that he's putting his tree where we want the flowers.
I could
All
just talk to Chrissy about it.
Yeah, I mean, and I can send an email, if you want to email her, just kind of, what kind and where she had an idea, and just telling her about the irrigation. Basically, if you're telling her where not to put them, and something, obviously, we don't want anything thorny that the kids are going to be scratched up on, or anything that's going to overtake, we don't want some spreading crazy plant. Maybe just some lilacs or something that might be nice.
Well, lilac spread.
But true, but they're pretty.
And then they're only there, they only bloom for a couple weeks, and then it's just a tree.
Right? Good
So-
point.
I don't think they're probably putting in lilacs. Those are expensive. I think that they were talking about flowers.
Okay.
I don't know whether they were talking about annuals or perennials, but yeah, I can talk to her about that. I don't think we need to
All
worry
right.
too much about it.
You don't mind emailing her? You want to do that?
I can do that. She can see her right now from where I'm sitting.
You can go talk to her in person?
Yep.
All right. So that's pretty easy. Okay. So anybody else have any comments about the Girl Scouts? All right. So next is Chase Park, unless anybody has anything about Bolton. So Naomi, where are we at with the boat ramp? Are we still in that waiting period from the NHDES?
Nope, we got a letter back and I filled out the wrong form. He sent me 2 links and I did the shoreland one versus the wetlands one. So
Okay.
I've redone the wetlands one. The wetlands one does require a signature by the conservation, so I'm gonna do that with them tomorrow night, and then I'll get it out the door. It's still a 10-day window, so my plan is to get it done tomorrow night, and I'm gonna urge them to get somebody to sign it versus waiting for them to come to my office. If they can appoint someone to sign it, then I can get it off in the mail, and then your 10 days starts again. And if I looked at the calendar correctly, if that week of the school vacation week would be the week Benji could do it.
Okay, all right, yeah, and
I'm
that's,
keeping my fingers crossed at this point.
if all the stars align.
Well, he sent 2 links, and I honestly, it was my fault, and I apologize, but
Sounds like me. I'm kind of like that. Oh, I should have read the whole email. Oops.
well,
Okay,
you shouldn't have sent me 2 links. That's too confusing.
right? All right, okay, so, well, at least we've heard from them, so we know they got the first one, and now we'll
I
do
would
that.
have thought shoreline too. It sounds like shoreline project to me, but whatever.
Yeah,
That's exactly what I thought, because, we're not filling a wetland, so I did shoreland, and they said, no, it's gotta go to wetland, so.
that's weird. Maybe shoreline,
okay, Naomi.
maybe shoreline's only ocean or something. Okay,
I have a question for Naomi about when the candidates are going to get their email with the Zoom link for Monday's meeting.
So I was just gonna ask you guys, Monday, so we have to there is no Zoom link, and I'll just explain this, because when we do non-public and interview people, typically we want to do that in person because of, you never know who's sitting in the next room.
Okay.
Not that it's a big deal, but we have other non-public things that evening as well. So we were going to, I've reached out to 4 out of 5 of my board members and have it a separate night, like Wednesday night, next Wednesday night, and do just the interviews in person with the kids.
Okay.
In person, like in the office?
In person in the conference room, yes.
Okay, can I just, Naomi, I did tell everybody, so I apologize. I told everybody, or we told everybody, that they were gonna be on the 19th.
Okay.
I told her, and I reiterated that when I called back. Some of these kids don't have rides necessarily at 6:30. They might have to wait for a parent to come home. And there's sports that they were kind of working around, or like Boy Scouts, I know, depending, there was some stuff going on.
Well, we have other things that we can do on the agenda as well. We wouldn't start until 6:30.
Okay.
So, you know what I mean? I can send out, are those kids' emails or parents' emails?
It's a
It's a
blend.
combination.
Yeah.
All right, so what I would do, I guess, tomorrow is I can send out an email to all those kids that we're gonna interview and let them know that there's been a change. It's gonna be in person, and see if they can give me a time frame. Because if have to, by 7 or a little after, it's usually getting dark. So if there's practice, they're probably done. And rides and stuff like that, I guess we can work through it. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's just, we want to do it this way. It's something that, as the board decided, that any non-public just should be done more in person than via Zoom.
Yeah. Nope, that makes sense.
So I
I
can
know
send out
that,
that email and see what I can get for times, because it would be next Wednesday.
okay.
And if it's 7, it's 7. It's not a big deal. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Because
no,
they're each going to be there for a few minutes. So if you get
Yeah.
someone that can't come until later, we can take what we can take. I was thinking like 10 minutes or 15 minutes at the most.
Yeah.
And then I could have a paper running and schedule them accordingly. And if we do some and then fit the chief in and do some more, it's not a big deal.
That's great. Just because I know of the people that we're looking at, we've got kids who are heavily involved in Boy Scouts, baseball, softball, music lessons, extracurricular stuff.
Well, that's good. Yeah.
I
No,
can tell
I
you
mean,
that
it's
there's,
good that the kids are doing things finally.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
I meant by that.
Busy.
Yeah.
there's no scouts on Wednesday,
Good.
so
I think,
the
yeah,
scouts
driving
won't be there.
One down.
kids on Tuesday, so that's,
Yay. It's awesome.
All right. No, I'll try to work that and make a schedule and a block and go for that.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
just put my 3 together, please.
Oh, come on. You don't want to come down once every few minutes? Just teasing.
And Naomi, I do want to say something about that list. We know that we have a lot of kids on that list, or a lot of people on that list, but we expect that there's a potential for drop off.
And
as other-
vacations.
there's summer jobs and there's vacations, and we also have told all of the new kids that not to expect very many shifts. But there's also that the level of the amount of work that we expect. We lost kids last year because they couldn't withstand that necessarily, or wasn't what they were looking for. So we just want to be prepared for those drops, those possible drops.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think we can hold off on the wages for employees. I think we have to go into non-public when we do that. Well, if we don't say names, do we need to go into non-public? If we just specifically say job position only?
I think we have to talk about it as names, because I think that there was some input about, different things. There's some differences in, especially like, for instance, we have a difference in some of their background. So
Okay,
I do think it should be non-public.
okay. All right, so you want to hold off on that and do that at the end then? Does that sound okay?
Yeah, or at another time when, we'll see.
Okay, all right. I don't know why I still had lifeguard course reimbursement in there. Did you get a chance, Lisa, to talk to anybody about well chlorinating before we open?
I did leave a message for Kentucky, and I've not heard back yet.
Okay. I have an email address. If you don't get a reply, I was able to get an email respond quite easily. I think it's like info@well or water.
Yeah, there's like 6 different or 3 different selections on there. There's an emergency number. There's all this stuff, and I left a message for them. So I don't expect that it'll be any problems.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. As long as we got it on the to-do list.
Yeah, it's already done. The call's already been made. Hopefully
Okay.
they'll call me back.
Yes. Well, that's what I'm thinking as far as following up and stuff. Okay. Oh, buoys. Yes. So I think we can probably talk about this next month, because we're not going to be ready to pick them up until May. I just have to double check with when they're open, because I'm not sure, Dave, how flexible. I know you didn't. I think we've all told you, Dave, for the full-size pickup truck of getting the buoys.
Yeah, I was looking to take some time off just because of my schedule of taking the probably the first week in May,
Okay.
when things are slow for me at work. So all I need is the address and things like that. And if I have to stack them in my garage, I'll stack them in my garage. I got
Okay.
plenty of space. I can just stack them in there if I have to.
All right. So,
So I just
yeah.
need the address and whatever paid slip we've got so that I can make arrangements with this person to come get them.
So I don't think I need a paid, well, I might have a paid slip emailed to me. I don't think I need one. So basically, I've been contacting the same person all the time. So I can reach out, like, I'll get the hours and I'll get the address for you. And you kind of just need to figure out, what day or time works the best. And then I can call him and tell him you're coming this day and time, and he'll expect it. I can ask if you need a receipt, but I mean, they've had our name on them since they made them. So I don't
Okay.
foresee you needing the receipt. All right, so I'll reach out and do that. We
Okay.
also need to set everybody, Chase Park, the season schedule, the hours.
Okay. Wait a minute. On the buoys,
Oh, sure, yeah.
I did go on to Amazon, and I found like 4 or 5
Well, the
different
anchors.
companies for the anchors for them. They range anywhere from like 10 to 15 pounds, which should be more than enough to hold those things. The difference in price, the 10 pounders were running like $30. The 15 pounders are running 35. And seeing how we have people who love to go hang on those lines, maybe having a little bit heavier anchor might be a better idea.
So 35 pounds, and we have.
No. 15 pounds.
15
15 pounds for $35.
No, $35. How many did we get? Did we get 5 or 6?
We got 5.
Okay, 15 pounds, $35. How does everybody feel about getting 15-pound anchors?
I think it's a good idea.
I think it's a good idea too.
Okay. Any comments, John?
Nope.
Okay, so $35 times 5, was there shipping?
I'd have to pull it back up. Unfortunately, I'm sitting in my truck, so I just kind of scribbled it down the last time. I just happened to pull out the piece of paper that had it on it.
If we
And-
had, if we bought 5 of them at $35, it's 175, but if we estimate shipping wise, you know, we could just say, you know, including shipping, we could just do it like 250. So, I'll make a motion to spend up to $250 to purchase 5 15-pound anchors, on Amazon to anchor the buoys at, Chase Park.
I'll second it.
We'll do a roll call for all in favor. Lisa?
I'm in favor. Sorry, I'm at the tennis courts checking out the,
Okay. Pam?
I'm in favor.
John?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
And
the stuff that I,
Janine says yes. Okay, so Dave, if you can email me the Amazon link and I can send it over to Beth, and I think that's it's pretty much all we need to do for, if Beth has the Amazon link, she can get them for us. I think that's what Lisa did in the last time when she needed to get something. Right, Lisa?
yes.
Okay.
The repairs that I made at the tennis courts last year looked like nothing worked at all.
Okay.
All of the sealant that I put on, the cracks are worse.
They're worse?
Yep, they're worse.
Do you think it can be played on? Do you think putting the nets up is crazy, or do you think it can be played on?
There's uneven pavement here. I don't know that it's safe, to be honest. Because people are moving fast and they catch their toe on that, they're gonna go flying.
All right, so I think Denise is coming up soon, so maybe I'll just reach out to her email and see what she thinks, because I'm sure that if she's come up, she's probably looked at it. Okay.
What is their box back?
Did they bring their pickleball?
No, no.
Okay.
There's trash all over the place up there too. So I don't know why there's a trash can there. It's supposed to be carry in, carry out. But there's a trash can there and it's a mess.
So who picked up the trash cans last time?
There was not a trash can at the tennis courts last time.
No, I mean, when we had trash cans that we were no longer going to use, and we made the switch from trash cans to carry in, carry out, who picked up the trash cans for us last time?
There was not a trash can at the tennis court.
Right, but at the gazebo there was, or were they at
Yeah,
Bolton?
at the gazebo, but those were town-owned trash cans. I don't know who put this one there.
How about at Bolton? Who picked them up? Who picked who removed the ones from Bolton? Who can remove this?
I removed the one from Bolton,
Okay,
but
so,
it was cracked and nasty, so it was easy to remove. But this is like somebody else put a trash can there. But it's
Naomi,
overflowing.
any idea who put a trash can at the tennis court?
It might have been pickleball.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I have
Not
no
sure.
idea.
Okay. All right, I'll ask Denise, because we want carry in, carry out.
Yep.
Unless they're gonna empty it every single week. Which they're not doing. All right. Okay, I'll email Denise. All right, let's see.
Going back to Chase Park.
That's at the tennis court.
Yep, no, going back to the Chase Park topic.
Yeah.
Naomi or anybody else, have we heard about any limitations in terms of 50% capacity, 75% capacity, et cetera?
I've heard no update yet. I'm expecting, keep hearing that things are gonna change for Memorial Day weekend, so I don't know yet, John.
Okay, something we need to keep that in mind, park members, that could potentially change. From last year, we were at 50%. If all of a sudden we hit 100, obviously schedules will have to be adjusted accordingly.
When I dug through the governor's orders, and this was in March, and I looked through campgrounds and beaches, and of course, nothing really like addresses specifically to us. I didn't see any capacities as far as the lake. They definitely talked about keeping the picnic tables spread out, keeping the bathroom schedules, the cleaning tight, having the hand sanitizer available. I didn't see any capacity. I don't remember if I printed it. It was pretty long. I didn't see any capacity limitations at that point. I'll have to go back and look again. I know it was a pretty long document because they lump all the outdoor activity stuff together, like zip lining, and it's all together. And I didn't see them limiting capacity. So I'll have to go back and look again.
I would think that if there's no capacity no capacity limitations given for beaches, whether it be a state beach or a town beach or whatever, then as far as I would think, it would just be 100% open.
I think I agree with you. I think that's what we would, I think we would match with that. So I'll go back and look again. I looked in March and I didn't print it out. So I'll look again because it gets updated very often. So.
Well, we would need the Board of Selectmen to agree to change it because they were the ones that, based off of the governor's order, mandated that we had to stay at 50%. So I think we'd have to go to the Board of Selectmen and say, hey, they're saying we can be fully open. Do you agree? And have them give their rubber stamp approval that, yes, they're fine with us going back to 100%.
I don't think we have to go to, their thing was for last season. So we should assume, I think, that we can open up this season at 100% capacity, unless the governor orders something, and then we'd go to the Board of Selectmen and say, hey, we need to do this. What do you think? Am I correct? I don't think the Board of Selectmen did a blanket statement that was good for this year too. I think it was just last season.
It's my understanding that when he issued his orders, they were to be until lifted. That's how I took it. Just like we opened the building back up, and if we were going to meet in person, you're still going to have to wear a mask and be social distanced, because that hasn't been reduced yet, even though all the vaccinations are occurring. That's how I understand it, is once he'd issued it and once he lifts it, there's a change.
I wonder if all the 211 might be able to clear some of this up.
Okay.
Yeah, I can call, but remember last year, 211 is a whole bunch of operators that are volunteering, and I think I got 3 different answers on 3 different calls, but I could certainly call 211 and ask. I just, I don't mind. I kind of assumed that we would be opening at full capacity and just keep the picnic tables separated, because the last time I looked, which was also in March, that was what I saw on the governor's, like the list for the state requirements.
I think that's still a safe idea. Let's plan for 100% capacity, and then if it's reduced, then we're not behind the 8 ball as if we plan for 50% and all of a sudden we're able to open full and we're screwed.
Right. Yeah, because Lisa, John was more worried like staff, if we're 100%, not 50%, and you don't have enough staff. So scheduling wise.
I think we scheduled staff this pretty much the same last year as if we were open full, because we were having to do more rounds, more bathroom cleaning, and we were really focusing on trying to get that park cleaned up. So I think that it really didn't affect our staffing. I really don't think it did.
So we'll be
Because
good.
we had somebody in the parking lot parking cars. We ended up having full staff.
All right, so we'll be good either way. And I'll look too and see what I can find, and we can definitely, if the Board of Selectmen wants to talk to us, I mean, I don't know, John, do you want to tell them what our plans are? And if they want to talk to us, I can definitely go to a meeting if they need to.
Yeah, I'll bring it up at maybe not the next meeting.
Right, closer to the opening day.
As we get closer to that, I'll bring up the topic and see what everybody's feeling is.
Okay, because we'll shoot for 100% capacity unless we see reasons otherwise. And I'll look up again if I can find the page where they talked about it. I'll send out a link. All right. So that's good. Okay, so anything else about Chase Park before we move on?
If we are 100% capacity, or even it doesn't matter. The Board of Selectmen have increased the fees and
Yep.
a higher potential for more cash to be on, especially with out of towners. What happens with the cash taken in at the end of every night?
Lisa?
It's so the cash is put when there gets to be a certain amount of cash in the cash box, it goes in the safe, which only Kristen and I have a key to. And there's no other way currently to get into it because the code actually doesn't work. So we're not in danger of anybody other than us getting into it. At the end of the night, it gets picked up and is brought down either to the town office or it's brought down to the town office, or I have kept it overnight before.
Okay.
But I will not keep large amounts of cash. So
No, I was just
that's for sure.
concerned with the potential to have a larger than last year total of cash on hand at the end of every shift.
Yeah. And sometimes it's picked up mid shift, to be honest. So there really isn't usually a lot of cash in that gatehouse.
Okay, good.
All right. Okay, that's good. Anything else Chase Park wise? All right, so next we have
Yeah, I sorry, I was trying to get you unmuted. The only thing that is obviously with Memorial Day weekend being so late this year, did we want to have the staff go in on the Saturday before Memorial Day and get all the cleaning done, get the lines out, get all the stuff done? So on Memorial Day weekend, all we're doing is opening the gate and letting people flow through.
what did we do last year? Was it what did we do last year?
We did have a cleanup day last year when the park wasn't open. So I think that it might be a good idea to just, to have us go in for a few hours for cleanup.
Okay, because it comes down to Lisa and Kristen. I would imagine they're the ones that are going to be there for that type. So if Lisa and Kristen are okay with that, it would definitely be fine. So it wouldn't be open an early day. It would just be an employment day.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, because obviously, unfortunately, this year, because of the restrictions put on by the high school, we don't have the baseball team to help do some of the cleaning and things like that they have done in years past. Obviously, they didn't do it last year as well.
I was going to
because of all
ask
the
you about
COVID
that,
stuff.
Dave. Did you get a hold of somebody about that? Because you said you were going to follow up, because I was thinking that I might follow up with them to see if there's any possibility of them doing it, because there's other groups that are allowed to
I
go
will.
do outdoor cleanups.
I'll ask him again. I'll be seeing him in person on Saturday at a field hockey tournament. I can ask the individual again.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's worth checking. I mean, we'd love to have them come. We'll take all the help we can get. Plus, it's nice for the kids to have a little bit of a stake in that. So I'd certainly be open to other groups coming in, like maybe Boy Scout troops or whatever, somebody do a section. It's a lot of work.
Do you want to reach out to some Boy Scouts, Lisa, and see if there's any available?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's good PR. They need the volunteer. They need the community service hours.
Okay. And then
The other thing is we want to get a hold of, I believe it's the Medcalfs, and I forget who the other individual is that has the boat that we use.
Yeah, it's Chris Salisbury. Yep.
Get them lined up so that they know we're going to need them on that particular weekend to help get the lines done.
Who reaches out to them?
I'll do it.
Okay.
I know them. I know Chris. I set it up with Chris last year, so
Oh, and he just talked to Chuck Metcalf?
yeah. Well,
Okay.
Chris goes with his boat, and Metcalf usually goes. Chuck usually goes with him.
Okay. Okay, so we could plan for that, you think, on the 22nd, on the day that, like picnic tables are gonna get put out and kind of get everything ready, just kind of shoot for that day? That's the Saturday before Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, we could try for just maybe a couple hours. We've got to look at our schedules to schedule. I'll talk to Kristen about when she's available and when I'm available.
Okay. All right. Okay, all right, anything else Chase Park wise? I mean, I definitely, as far as the schedule, do we want to talk about that? We can talk about that at next meeting. It's not too late probably to post a schedule, because we have to post it online in May. Does everybody feel that just wait until May to post the park schedule?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Okay.
I would just say that we're opening for the season on Memorial Day weekend, and that's the only thing I would put out for the schedule, just so that people know that that's when we're opening.
That's
Right.
a really good idea, because we're getting emails already, and then people are worried that they need to reserve their passes, and I'm like, we're not doing reserved passes. Everybody in town is a right to a pass.
Right.
So yeah, maybe, yeah, you're right. I think you're right. We need to put something up now, that the schedule will be coming out later, but we're gonna hope this is opening weekend.
We're open.
And I would maybe say we're opening on X on the Saturday of Memorial Day weekend. Boom, here you go. And look forward to seeing you. Hugs and kisses, all that fun stuff.
In the past, we did 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. starting, so we can say, May 29th, our opening day, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. We can state that part.
And, weather pending.
Right. Okay.
Janine, if you wanted, we could just put something on there that, Chase Park will be opening Memorial Day weekend. Stay tuned for further details, and just
All
let you
right.
guys work it out.
That
You'll
would
have
be
a better idea maybe what weather would look like too, so.
Do you want to tell Karen, or do you want me to do that?
I made a note.
Okay, perfect. All right,
Thank
that
you,
would be
Naomi.
good. Thank you, Naomi. All right. So quickly, Purington Field, Lisa, did you get any feedback from what happened there as far as fill and such this weekend?
So, WAC, I think it was WAC that paid for, or either an individual, but it's gonna get reimbursed from WAC. Paid for, some material to be brought there. There is material that's there that if we had done it, I think we probably would have used, but they didn't want to use the older material. And they also cut a deal with, Stockhouse to spread it. So I have not been over there yet. It was supposed to be spread on Sunday, was what I had heard.
I
Right.
drove by, I think it was Saturday or Sunday, and it looked okay. It looks like it had been spread and looked fine.
So there wasn't a pile of material in the
Well,
parking lot?
there's still a half a pile over by where the other pile is. It's not a huge pile.
That's what,
But
getting
there's
worried.
still a pile of stuff over there.
Yeah, there's a lot of piles of material there.
I drive by that twice a day, every day. The infield looks good. I did drive by there, I think it was, and I noticed there was some people out there practicing their golf swing and getting minor divots out in the outfield.
Yeah, that is a very popular place for that.
That
Yeah.
always happens.
I can only hope that they're refilling in their divots.
Always dream, can't we?
Yep.
So maybe I'm thinking, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but those piles are starting to really multiply. Maybe that's something Benji would want to pick up and use somewhere or something. Like, I mean, it's just getting to be.
I'd rather see it used to fill in some of the deep, I don't want to call them holes, but I guess divots in the driveway.
in the parking lot? I mean,
Yeah.
is that
From
material?
my understanding is that it's the field material. I don't know. I guess there was some concern about using it because there was some plant material in there, but we always end up with plant material in the infield as soon as baseball season's over anyway. Like the second it's over, the crabgrass comes out.
Right.
So I would have, if we were going to fix it, knowing now what I know that's there, I would have asked for volunteers to just spread that material. So I did. I know that they can't remove it because it belongs to the town. But yes, I agree. It could be possibly used to fill in some of the parking lot, but I don't know if it's the right stuff for that. It is meant for the baseball field.
Can we ask Benji
Well,
to,
how does the other field look? So how does Purington look? How does Inison look? Do we need to physically maybe move it from point A to point B? How do those other fields look? I mean, granted, WAC bought it, and we're obviously going to move it to fill in and use on other fields, saying, hey, look, thank you very much. And we also want to publicly say thank you very much for WAC for stepping up in purchasing the material. Is how do the other fields look? Do we need to move some of that dirt to another
There was some
location?
recent work done to Bolton Fields. So I don't know, there was no complaint from WAC about Bolton Field yet. I have not been over to Bolton Field yet this season. So I'll be there very soon, I think next week. And so, yeah, I mean, we could always say, look, there's material there, it can be moved. I'm sure that WAC knows that material is there. And if they see any need for it, there are WAC members who have tractors and other such things, and I'm sure it will get moved.
you'd think that, but it's been 6 years that stuff's been there. I mean, there's a
I'm not
pile-
talking about that. I'm talking about the new stuff. They didn't realize, they didn't even know that other stuff was the proper material to
Well,
go
that's what-
on.
That's what I'm
So-
talking about is the old, I realize the brand new stuff is theirs and it's there and they're probably still going to use it or spread it or need it. I'm talking about the 4.5 old piles that are like, they keep multiplying, it feels like. So I'm wondering if some of that can be used maybe to fill the parking lot or something.
I'm sure.
Do you think
Sure
we
it
should
could
have
be.
Benji to look at it and see about spreading it?
It's fine with me.
Anybody have
As long as
thoughts?
he doesn't spread the brand new stuff that WAC just bought.
Right?
Well, if that brand new stuff is parked right in front of all the old piles, it's right for Benji to have to move some dirt. That's just going to
He can get to the old piles, I think, from where I saw.
They're all like in a line. They're just like left to right. They just keep getting closer to the field, it seems like. So, all right. Because that would be really nice if that older stuff could be filled in, like John said, the holes in the parking lot. I mean, it's growing grass. It's just sitting there and that would be nice. Okay. Anybody else have any comments about Purington? So next we are going to talk about the library. Karen Metcalf sent us an email. Hello, the Ware Library staff is busy planning this year's summer reading program. The library and park have collaborated in the past, pre-COVID, to kick off the summer reading program. We'd like to do it again this year. Kickoff is scheduled for Thursday, June 24th at 6:30. What we've done in the past is that someone from park drops off the lawn games a few days ahead of time. Committee members, I know Pam did this the last time they were together. I was going to and I didn't make it. Join the library to help set up and supervise the games and clean up during the summer reading kickoff. And then she also addresses, she'd like to hold stories time at the lake again. Chase Park Pavilion, she did Wednesday mornings all summer, so all of June and all of July. She'd like to do that again. And she'd also like to add 2 new things this summer. She'd like to see if they could use the tennis court for pickleball demonstrations on a Saturday afternoon. So it looks like just one pickleball demonstration. And then if the committee would be interested, the library is interested in collaborating on a campfire sing-along, either at Chase Park or at the library. So my thoughts as far as a sing-along goes, maybe once more COVID restrictions are loosened, because that seems a little not anti, but hard to have a sing-along with masks and hard to enjoy the campfire and things like that. So, I mean, I think that sounds wonderful. I'm definitely up for any of the events and, you know, bringing fun to town. That's why we're here. But I think that might be something maybe later in the summer if more restrictions have been eased up. As far as the tennis court pickleball demonstration, as far as I was thinking, if pickleball is not planning on using it, or I'm not sure if they actually like got together with the pickleball club and that's who is going to hold the demonstration, or if it's they have someone on their own coming in. So if no one's planning on using the court, because we don't do reservations, I mean, I think it's wonderful if the court's safe to use and if nobody else is using it. Story time at the pavilion, I don't see any problem with that unless anybody else has any opinions. And as far as the lawn games and the summer kickoff to reading, I mean, again, that's fine with me if they want to borrow the games, and I should be able to even help set up.
So the only thing that I can see as a problem is, the sing-along might be an issue just because of COVID right now, and there's lots of singing restrictions, so we might want to hold off on that. I'm not sure how the neighbors on the lake are going to like that, depending on how late it goes, and I'm not quite sure what the time was, but I love the idea. The pickleball thing, I do have some concerns after just walking on the court tonight. I could see that as being somebody could get hurt there. And then that story time thing, we have not historically reserved the pavilion, so I'd want to talk to Kristen about how that's worked in the past, if she was there when they did it before, because we have never reserved that pavilion to my knowledge. I don't have a problem with doing that for the library, but I think we want to be careful because people have tried to reserve it for birthday parties, and we've always told them no. First come, first serve.
I don't know if it's a reservation thing, more just like a field use form is kind of my assumption. And she's doing it pretty early on Wednesdays. So I would assume that she would pick that time maybe because it's not crowded or something.
Maybe. I mean, we've had people come early in the morning, like meet at the gate to go sit, park there and reserve it for stuff later in the day. So I just don't want to have a problem with that. I mean, I don't mind if we say that it's because it's the town activity and that's why it's reserved, and the individuals are still not allowed to reserve.
Right.
Maybe, but that is something that we want to make sure we're careful about.
And I think, I mean, we can ask her too, if it has to be the pavilion or if she can just kind of park a chair anyway and she pick the pavilion if it's empty because there's shade or, you know, I mean, we can see.
Yeah.
And lawn games, do you know where the lawn games are?
I have no idea.
Pam, I think you helped last year with the summer reading kickoff.
It wasn't last year, it was the year before, but I thought they were in the library.
The games.
Yeah.
Okay. She said somebody drops them off, so we can ask Karen.
I don't recall, honestly.
Did we see some games, Lisa, at the Bolton storage?
There might have been some there, or it might have been Chase Park. I was just trying to remember where I saw stuff. It could have been at Bolton, or it could have been at Chase Park in one of those sheds. I know I saw some somewhere last year.
I remember that. I think I was with you, but I've been with you at both of those places when we were in the irrigation shed and when we were looking for signs at Chase Park. So
I can ask Kristen too when I get home too, because I know she cleaned out a lot of those sheds last year and she might have remembered seeing them.
are we okay with the library borrowing them once we find them?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm absolutely fine with that.
Okay. Does anybody want to volunteer to help out at, I'm gonna volunteer to help. At the kickoff, 6:30, Thursday. It's a Thursday night at 6:30.
I don't know what's happening with the baseball and softball schedule. It's usually all-star season at that point. So I'm hesitant to commit. We
Okay.
could be traveling.
And I know Pam's super busy with,
If I'm available, then I will stop by, but I cannot commit to anything at this time.
okay. All right.
All right.
Maybe we
All right.
can drop
My work schedule is a little bit up in the air at that point, so I'll have to, as we get closer, I can be able to tell what's going on and be able to commit or not commit.
All right, I
What
can
day
tell,
was,
yep,
what day was it again?
June 24th at 6:30.
Thank you.
So, I can,
Pam,
Yeah.
also just a side note, Kristen and I can help you with whatever you need for, shopping for the food stuff and helping to staff this summer. So anything you need, just let us know.
Thank you.
okay. Let's see, anybody else comments about, the, stories at the lake?
I think it was really popular the last year, the last time that it was run. There was always a lot of comments about kids going and having a good time with Miss Karen. So would like to be able to support that any way that we can.
Okay. All right, perfect. Dave, any comments?
No, I think it's great. I think, just blocking it out on Wednesday morning, I think would be a good thing.
All right, and I think, Lisa, did you say you were gonna talk to Kristen and see how it went last time that Karen did that?
Yeah, just to see if she reserved or not.
Okay. And so, as far as, so pickleball, so I'll talk to her about the condition of the court. Maybe I could hook her up with Denise maybe to talk about stuff, or I can just see further what she's thinking. I mean, I don't want to say no, don't use it for pickleball demonstrations, but because I'm all for her doing that. It's just a matter of the court's condition. Is that what you guys are thinking?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Lisa, you were just there. Should we shut down the tennis courts until we can come up with a better plan from a safety standpoint?
I was actually just going to say that I think that we ought to have, Naomi, do we have like an insurance, like somebody who does insurance for the town? Because there's uneven spaces. If it was a gym floor, it wouldn't work,
Is it heaving up in some spots? Is that the problem?
Oh, it's definitely uneven that way, but where there are, large cracks, when you slide your foot along the, across the crack, the crack is higher on one side than the other at this point.
Okay.
Not all of them, but definitely in spots. I could see it being a problem, and I hate to say that.
So our question for Naomi was, Naomi, is there a particular person that does the insurance for the town? Do they go and look at things and do they assess and say, yeah, this should be closed, it's a hazard or anything? Is there someone that does that?
Well, we have Primex covers all of our properties. I don't know, they're all working remote. I mean, they came and looked at the skate park years ago, when things weren't correct. I guess I can just send out I don't think they're making calls and visits.
Right?
If we think it's unsafe, then I think you just close it.
Okay.
I think that it would be worth asking them to please come look, because it looks like it looks like it has, to me, it looks like a potential for a hazard. And maybe I'm wrong, but
Should we talk to people that use it all the time and that say, oh, no, that's what it was like last year, we used it, it was just fine? Or, I mean, who's the expert in this?
I think
It
the
has
town is the
changed.
expert.
Yeah,
The
and it
town
has changed
shoulders
since
the
last year.
liability. The town is going to shoulder the liability if someone gets hurt on the court. I think we need to have someone assess it and say whether or not it can remain open or if we have to close it.
I think the safest thing to do until we can evaluate this is just to not open it up until we can figure out a repair option. If there is a repair option, or if we're just being overly cautious. But I think I'd rather be overly cautious than somebody, even a kid, just breaking their ankle or something like that.
So I wouldn't put up the tennis nets yet.
Good call, Naomi.
Tennis net plans are off. All right.
Naomi, is it something that maybe, somebody who does maintenance for the town could just go look at? I know it's worse than when I was there last fall trying to fix it.
Well, how do we close it? Like, are we gonna try to lock it or just no nets?
I think
Caution
we should
tape.
lock it.
I mean, the only people I've got to do anything is the highway guys. I mean, I don't have any maintenance person.
And the highway's pretty strapped. I mean, they're only working.
Yeah, we keep asking them to do everything, so I would say you just don't put the nets up
Okay,
and we could put a note on it or something.
I'll talk to Denise with the pickleball club because they obviously use it a lot.
Yeah, and we
Well,
got
can we-
bids coming in, so within a few weeks, you might get somebody started on it anyway.
Right. The repair is going to
Yeah.
happen soon.
Yeah, I
How
say
about-
we close it down until we look at it better. I don't want to take the risk and risk somebody getting hurt.
All right,
Dave,
We
you
need
were
you need to put a sign up and maybe, I don't know, if they're going to, violate the sign and do it anyway, then, you're
Enter
using
your
it
own
at
risk.
your own risk.
I think we can put it right on the town website, enter at your own risk. If I put a sign up or putting tape up, I'm gonna put a toilet there with full of tape.
I wouldn't even invite them to enter at your own risk. Just it's closed.
all right. So, do we want to just have Naomi listed on the website?
That would be, I think that's our best, easiest bet. It's closed.
Okay.
Yeah, we can put some
Any-
caution tape around.
It'll get torn down in 10 seconds.
Yeah,
That's what happened at Chase Park. I know that.
It happened
And
everywhere.
at the skate park, it was all just ripped up right away.
can the gate be locked?
We'll put a lock on it. Kids will climb over the fence and break it further.
That's a tall fence. That fence, isn't that like 10, 12 feet tall?
It's probably 6 or 8 feet. Yeah.
No, at that point they're trespassing. So
What do you think, Lisa? Should we bother to lock the gate?
I guess, he has a point. They're trespassing once we lock it. So
I would lock it.
Did you have an extra lock as a backup for Chase Park?
I have the lock that I actually have in my hand right now. The lock that was on Inison because I've opened Inison up now. So I can put that on there for now.
Okay, awesome. All right.
remind me again what the repair plan is for the tennis courts.
The Emma Sawyer Fund approved up to $18,000 to do the Vermont Recreation temporary fix, like a good 2 or 3 year solution. And so Naomi has put it out to bid that is due next week. I believe she said either Thursday or Friday, 5 p.m. So everybody has an opportunity to bid in. And then we'll, if Vermont Recreation is the only one, we proceed with them. And then the repairs will start as soon as they can. And at this point, that buys us a few years to seek out CIP for a larger project, maybe like a little bit every year, instead of asking the town to absorb one whole big amount at one time. Maybe we could do like a payment situation type of
Okay.
thing. So we do have repairs in the works, on slated, funded by Emma Sawyer Fund.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so we're gonna close, okay. So I think that's everything I have except the pay schedule for the Chase Park employees. How are people feeling about that? Do we want to talk about that now? I mean, I kind of think they should know what they're making before they go talk to the Board of Selectmen. Comments?
So I think that for the returning people, we should have that discussion. The new hires already know their rate of pay, except for the lifeguard, and that lifeguard is right now we don't have anything because we're not sure. He hasn't taken his test yet. He hasn't finished the class.
Right, he's signing. I guess it's a really quick, it's a quick course. It's like a one weekend type of situation, so. All right, so I believe we have to move into non-public then to do the rates of pay. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes, you move into non-public, and then I'll cease the recording,
Okay, so
but you'll
And
still
what-
be meeting.
What is the RSA again?
91A3, Roman numeral 2, small b.
I'm gonna go ahead and step out at this point then. If you folks don't need me for anything else, I'll see the kids, in a week. Or,
thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
all right, have a good night, everybody.
You too. Good night. Okay, I think somebody has to make a motion to go non-public. Pam, since you have the little thing written down?
I make a motion under RSA 91A3, Roman numeral 3B, to go non-public to discuss salary at Chase Park.
I'll second that.
You
So
have to
it's
take a roll call now.
roll
All
call.
in favor?
No, it
Lisa?
has to
Aye.
be individual. Lisa,
Aye, yep.
Dave,
Yes.
Janine,
Aye.
Pam, I say aye.
Okay, give me 1 second.